Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so it's a new day and I got another video dropping, and as you might have noticed, it's been the same thing over the last couple of weeks. This video is essentially the same as the last. You probably know exactly what I'm gonna say it before I even say it. We got more information dropping, more video evidence of that Pennsylvania rally shooting, the attempt on Donald Trump's life, and yep, the same thing. It's now even worse than initially thought. It's been hard to give Joe Biden's DOJ any benefit of the doubt, especially due to all the facts that are dropping, but even then there's still a little bit at the back of your mind that goes, well, it could be explained human error. Maybe there's something we don't understand. Maybe they just didn't know, communication breakdown, whatever it is. At the back of your mind, you always give people at least a little bit of benefit of the doubt, but in this case, the more information that drops, there's no benefit of the doubt. There is absolutely nothing that could explain not pulling Trump off that stage. I want to continue to have a conversation about that. We got some stuff to get into. So let's roll the tape. All right, folks, let's just play this clip. Here's newly released video footage showing the sloped roof where the shooter was positioned ahead of Donald Trump. And as you can see, there's a figure just kind of openly walking around on that roof.
Should we bring him up for a couple of minutes? The world will see a vibrant Republican Party.
What is going on? Again, we're asking the same question. What in the frick is going on? You can see there's Secret Service agents around Donald Trump. There's people in suits and sunglasses hovering around the stage, dealing with the crowd, and apparently everybody is completely oblivious to this individual standing, walking on the roof and setting up. We're talking about completely insane stuff. What's the explanation for this? Again, we're coming back to the same points in all of these videos, but we have to keep asking these questions. What is the explanation? Is there even an explanation as to how this was allowed to happen? Mike Lee, who I believe is leading the House investigation into the Secret Service on this particular issue, also seems totally flabbergasted and confused and also frustrated with the non-answers that he's receiving from the Secret Service.
Why on earth did the snipers assigned to the second-story window with a clear view of that infamous sloped roof, a clear view of where the shooter stood and tried to kill President Trump? Why was that manned initially with snipers, with sharpshooters, and then abandoned at some point before the shooting took place? Now look, these are and should be obvious and easy basic questions for the Secret Service to answer, and they have had no fewer than 17 days since the attack to answer these questions. These are questions that they should have started asking and probably should have been able to answer within 24 hours. And yet, again and again and again, what I heard, what my colleagues heard, what you heard if you were watching, was we're looking into it. I'm sorry, that doesn't cut it.
How did nobody spot this guy on the roof? That's what everybody's asking. It's not like it should have been difficult. He's literally walking around and people are pointing the finger at him. And again, not a single person made the call. Secret Service leadership is claiming, well, that it's more nuanced than that. It's more complicated. Just because we saw a rangefinder or someone acting suspicious doesn't mean that we pull the president off the stage.
So this individual was identified as a suspicious person. Can you explain to us when a suspicious person becomes identified as a threat?
Well, I think it's also when a weapon or some other dangerous item is then presented.
A rangefinder would not render someone a threat as opposed to somebody who was under suspicion?
I think the rangefinder is what initially brought him to the attention of local law enforcement.
And why would the president be allowed to take to the stage while a suspicious person had been identified and before the Secret Service or local law enforcement were able to investigate the circumstances?
So at that time, Senator, suspicion had not risen to the level of threat or imminent harm.
But really, that's a complete mischaracterization of what happened. It's not like they spotted this dude just with a rangefinder and then completely let it go. I mean, that's obviously bad. That's clearly bad, but it's not the worst thing I've ever heard. It's that they spotted him 90 minutes ahead with a rangefinder acting suspiciously, then spotted him again. They never even spoke about him. They didn't even communicate about him to the Secret Service. He then was allowed to kind of freely roam around those buildings. Totally don't understand why. He was then also able to make it up on that roof where supposedly there were snipers set up in the windows on the second roof of an adjacent building that had direct access or view of him. Yeah, those agents just miraculously or mysteriously went for a coffee break at the time. Then you had tens upon tens of rally goers, mostly towards the back of the venue, identifying the threat, telling police about it. People are running around with like chickens with their heads cut off. But again, no message is being relayed to the Secret Service. The Secret Service is totally oblivious. They didn't find a valid reason to pull the president off the stage. It's insane to even think about, to try to reconcile logically. It doesn't make any sense. Not to mention you had two Secret Service agents who obviously saw the guy. And if they didn't see the guy, they should be fired immediately. They should be taken to the optometrist for a freaking eye check, because it's obvious now to everyone that he was just roaming on top of that roof within direct line of sight of the Secret Service agents who were on the ground, people and police officers who are on the ground, and of course Secret Service snipers who are set up on that roof behind President Trump, essentially with the same vantage point that we saw in the viral clip that I just played you guys earlier. You know, this is what they saw, except probably a lot clearer considering they were at a much higher point. So all this and nothing happened. Then we have all the mysterious elements of one individual who claimed to be with the ATF. The man never identified himself, has not been identified. I think he was wearing a gray blazer. He went up on the roof, took a picture of the suspect, and then just disappeared. You know, again, like I keep saying, the more information that drops, the more none of it really makes sense. The Secret Service's responses make the least sense, frankly. There hasn't been a single legitimate excuse or explanation for what has happened here. The FBI and the DOJ are all over the place. I mean, for Pete's sakes, Christopher Wray just the other day suggested that President Trump might have not even been hit by a bullet, but rather by flying shrapnel.
I think with respect to former President Trump, there's some question about whether or not it's a bullet or shrapnel that that hit his ear. So it's conceivable. Although, as I sit here right now, I don't know whether that bullet, in addition to causing the grazing, could have also landed somewhere else. But I believe we've accounted for all of the shots in the cartridges. So let us.
They're all over the place. Their explanations make no sense. And the more information that drops, I mean, frankly, I'm just going to say it, the more it seems likely that somebody was in on this thing. I'm not going to go as far to suggest that the DOJ and the White House are in on it, but I don't think it's too crazy to suggest that somebody was in on it, because I mean, how else do you explain this? Just a series of unfortunate events that all stacked on top of each other. Yeah, one or two coincidences, one or two errors, I understand. The whole picture here, not a single person doing their job, the ridiculous sloped roof excuse, agents mysteriously disappearing, the exact agents who were supposed to be manning that roof, make it make sense, because obviously what we are seeing makes no logical sense. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.